First of all, it's not enough just to commend you for your bravery of speaking out, but by your speaking out, you're helping not only young women, but wherever there might be the abuse that you talk about. And it's very difficult, I'm sure, in this public setting for you to speak that, and we felt that from you speaking out about it. It's got to be a hard job, but thank you for coming forward. So I'm going to ask questions of any one of you or all of you. You decide how you want to respond to this, but I hope at least one person would speak up. What can you tell Congress and the government witnesses testifying here today about the additional steps, if any, that we should take to ensure that we better protect child athletes? And we heard from all of you about the agents and the FBI not doing its job or even lying to us. And you heard about a bill that I am proposing. But beyond those things, do you have anything you'd like to add that Congress should hear from you to protect child athletes?
I think it's really important to look at the connection between the FBI, USA Gymnastics, and the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee. And we cannot believe that there's a safer future for children unless we fully understand every single thing that happened. And USA Gymnastics does say that they've done investigations, but those were not completely independent, and the scope of the investigation matters. Nobody should be off limits. Nothing should be off limits. It should go back decades, and that has not been done, and it's been something that we've been asking for years and years. And so I personally would like to see all three organizations completely investigated, and the scope of it matters, because until we know all the facts, it's just guesswork. And I hope you guys feel the same way about, as I do, that if we're thinking about children going into gymnastics or sports, I don't want to be guessing that they're going to be okay. I want to know with 100% certainty that somebody that looked the other way for us isn't still in a position of power. And so I think the investigation is crucial. And until that, I don't have any faith that things will get better in the sport.
Okay, if no one else wants to go beyond that, I'll go to my last question. I hope this isn't something so sensitive you don't feel you can talk about it, but do you have any thoughts or inputs to share about Safe Sport, the national nonprofit entity that has been tasked by Congress with handling allegations from amateur athletes?
Yeah, I personally think Safe Sport is, I'm trying to be respectful here. I don't like Safe Sport. I hear from many survivors that they report their abuse, and it's like playing hot potato where someone else kicks it over to somebody else and they don't hear back for a really long time. I think a really big issue is that Safe Sport is funded by USA Gymnastics or the United States Olympic Committee. I'm not sure exactly what the correct terminology is, but if you're Safe Sport and you are funded by the organization you're investigating, they're likely not going to do the right thing. And so I think that it needs to be completely separate. And I personally think Safe Sport needs a lot of work. And I know from many survivors, and my mom has personally reported things to Safe Sport, and we've followed up so many times. They say we can't help you, or they either ignore us or pass it on to somebody else, and the person they pass it on to says they kick it back to them. It's just a complete mess, and the priority doesn't seem to be safety and well-being of athletes. It seems to be protecting USA Gymnastics and doing everything to keep the PR good.
Yeah, I agree. Nobody really wants to be held accountable, and nobody really knows who to hold accountable. So I think in order to help, there needs to be a specific person who is in charge of protecting these athletes, and it falls on them when they're not. And instead of it being passed around and everyone just being like, oh, we don't know what happened, whose job was that? There needs to be a specific job for that.
Thank you.